In this video, we will learn about keyword final. Final is just like constant or const in C and C++, if you are familiar with. Here in Java, final does the same thing, but final can be used in various ways. So let us see. There are final variables, final methods, and final classes. So we'll learn about all these three. Let us look at final variables. Final variables. These variables are constants, just like constant. Means their value is fixed. We cannot modify their values. Once a value is assigned, value cannot be modified. Here I have example. I have three variables: final integer minimum, final integer normal, final integer maximum. I have taken three variables. So the first thing is, the variable names are all in capital letters. So this is the notation followed in Java. Final variables are written in capital letters. There are a lot of built-in final variables available in Java packages, in classes and interfaces. They are written in capital letters only. So we should also follow the same method of writing them in capital letters. Next, I have initialized this to 1, but I have not initialized these two. So yes, there are three methods for initializing final variables. Either you initialize them when you have declared them. Here itself I have initialized. And the second method is, for this normal, I have initialized inside static block. So static block, already we have discussed this. So this is the second method. So this is the first method. And the third method is, you can initialize them inside the constructor of a class. This is the constructor. So inside this constructor. And we can overload constructors. We can write multiple constructors. So in every constructor, you must initialize it, because we don't know which constructor will be called. So in every constructor, it must be initialized. So this is the third method. So final variables can be initialized in three methods: direct initialization in the static block or inside constructors. So just you can use these variables. If you want to modify anything, like suppose I want to make minimum as 0 here somewhere else in my program, in anywhere, if I write this, this will be wrong. There's an error. Final variable cannot be modified. So that's all about final variable. Now I will show you final methods and final classes. Next thing is final method. So here I have an example. I have a class called super. Inside this, there is one method, and I have declared it as final. Void method 1, and it is declared as final, and it is just printing hello. Then I have another class, that is a subclass, that is extending a super class. And here, if you observe, I am overriding the same method, void method 1. So if I override here, it will be an error. Final methods cannot be overridden. We cannot override. We can have a subclass that is inheriting from the class, but it should not redefine that method. So if a method is declared as final, it restricts overriding of that method, redefining of that method. You can add more methods if you want. So I have written one more method in this subclass. So a subclass can have extra methods if it wants. Now subclass is having one method, that is method 1, coming from superclass because it is extending, and second method, method 2, that is its own method, but it cannot redefine this method. So this is about methods as final. Now let us see what does it mean by class as final, that is final class. So here I have an example, a class super, and final keyword I have used along with the class. I have made it as final. So if you make a class as final, then here I am making subclass, that is extend superclass. This is not allowed. This is not allowed. So a final class cannot be extended, inherited. You cannot borrow the features of that class. You can just create the objects of that class and you can use it, but you cannot inherit it. So this is about final class. Let us repeat the points. Final variables cannot be modified. Final methods cannot be overridden. Final classes cannot be extended. So what is the use? What is the use of this final method? So let me give you some idea, some example. Suppose you have developed a software using Java, and you have written a lot of classes and interfaces, and some other company wants to buy this code from you, and you are ready to sell it or you are ready to share it. Then, but you have some restrictions. You want to tell them that don't override these methods of some classes. Not all, some classes have some methods, don't override them. So you make them as final, they cannot override it. And you are asking them not to inherit from so and so classes. Use them, but don't inherit. You make them as final. If you make the class as final, they cannot inherit. They can just use it. This is how you can set the policy. So this is useful in such a cases. And even within your projects also, from one project to another project, and your policy is that you want to freeze this method. Nobody should override. Make it as final. You want to freeze so that it should never be inherited. That is the final class. That's all. So make it as final. So based on your policy of a project, you can make the classes as final, as methods as final. So that's all about the final keyword. Next video is a practice video. So you watch that video, whatever is shown there, practice this on your machine. So you follow me, whatever I am doing, you do that on your machine. So this was just the explanation. So don't miss the next video.